Welcome to the Charleston CFO Council. This organization was co-founded in 2015 by Robert Bendetti and Mark Carmichael in order to provide a networking and educational forum for senior financial executives to share best practices, to discuss current financial issues, and to learn about current topics related to the performance of their job.
Lynn, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Good morning, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. This is great to get to talk to you during this social distancing time. I can tell you definitely work in healthcare. I see masks. I see all kind of PPP all over your office. So well done.
Yes, the handy mandy mask.
Amen. Well, Lynne Kerrison is the CFO at Bishop Gadsden, and it is an amazing facility. I told you before we started that my wife loves it, and I am working hard to save enough money. I hope to one day be a resident. And before that, Lynn, I think you were a partner at Dixon Hughes Goodman. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And you are a certified public accountant. And I believe you went to the College of Charleston and the University of South Carolina. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And through a little internet stalking and research, I believe that you like to boat and may or may not have a couple of dogs.
I do. I have two dogs, and I do like to boat. I used to sail for the College of Charleston, so that's what brought me to Charleston. So now I work all the time.
Well, that's super cool, and I'm excited to get to talk to you today and ask you a few questions. Let's get started. Question number one, Lynn, what is your favorite business book and why?
My favorite business book is called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Have you read this one?
Yes, ma'am.
I like it because I think it does an analogy to sports. And since I'm an avid sports fan, I think the best scenario is that when you have a basketball team, and they do a lot of analogies to basketball, that if you have 5 all-stars on the court, that they don't necessarily perform as a team and as a unit, even though they're all all-stars in their own right, they don't know how to mesh together. And that's what this book talks about, is taking your all-stars and the dysfunctions of the all-star team and making them mesh together to become a team that works together cohesively and can achieve greatness.
Lynn, that book is come up a couple times, and I also love that book. I've got a question for you.
Okay.
I've read a few of his books, and I've heard his name pronounced Lencioni and Lencioni. And I'm Italian, and I hate to admit I have no idea how to pronounce the guy's name.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that makes me feel better, actually.
Yeah, this book was good for me because and I'll get into this in a little bit, but we're in the process of building a 132-bed healthcare center, which is going to be a new function service line for us. And we have a really strong directors team, but because we're going to be venturing into a new product, which has a lot of cost associated with this, which also was going to open in March of 2022, and with the COVID and everything, it's probably not the best timing to opening up a 132-bed healthcare center. So this is a good book for my team because we are budgeting for 2021 and 2022. And one of the other thoughts in this book is that if you don't weigh in and be part of that discussion, you're not going to buy in. And I'm doing a lot of cost cutting, and a lot of people have we all want the building to be successful, and everyone wants the best of everything, but everyone can't have the best of everything. So we all have to sit in the room and figure out best products for it to meet budget. And so it's good. It's good timing. We're working through that right now.
I'm going to steal that line. I love that. What a great reminder that you've got to let people weigh in so they'll buy in. Ooh, I like that. That's a good reminder. And speaking of advice, Lynn, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Well, my grandfather told me, as I'm sure most of you have heard, is if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. And when I was in high school thinking about going to college, for me to say now I would be a certified public accounting and work in accounting would have never entered my mind, because, you know, I don't know how many people that are 18-year-olds think that accounting is exciting. But as I was in business school, I went to school to major in pre-med, but since I sailed for the College of Charleston, those science labs kind of got in the way with sailing practice. So I had to switch quickly. And I signed up for business because I thought it was going to be easy, but I really enjoyed it. And I liked the accounting and I liked the challenge of it. And so there it goes. But yeah, I love my job. I think I kind of evolved it back into healthcare, not being a doctor, but in healthcare through the accounting piece. So it all kind of comes together. But and I'm sure everyone's heard that same little tidbit of information, but I think it's true, and that's what I tell my children also.
Amen. Amen.
Except for they think I'm crazy being an accountant. So I had my son, I had him signed up for accounting because he did not know what he wanted to do. So I said, well, you can do accounting. And he came home after his first test and said, you really like this? And I said, yeah, it's not like the textbook. And he said, something's terribly wrong with you. So
I keep on trying to convince every young person I know that accounting is a great field to pursue. You have flexibility. You have 100 different careers that you could pursue in every corner of the earth to pursue it. On-site, remote. You're a knowledge worker. There's a lot of opportunity for advancement, either as an individual contributor or as a manager. I mean, I can't think of a better profession to be in. Especially for the investment that is required in education, for the return you can get in salary, it's a no-brainer.
That's what I think too. And also, if you look at the profiles of a lot of very successful business people, a lot of them majored in accounting or took a lot of accounting courses because it's the intricacies of the business. And if you don't understand how the business works, then how can you make good decisions?
Weren't we just talking about that before we started the call?
Yes.
Well, it's kind of good that not everybody understands basic math, because it means that we have a job and they have to pay us a little extra.
Yeah.
Question number 3. What is a new tool that you've recently started using, or a new habit that you've recently picked up that you found beneficial?
Well, my office, since COVID started in our business, our lives have changed totally, and everyone sits in isolation now. We all come to work, but we sit in isolation. So our office, my team has started taking walks. And so every day after lunch, we've just started to walk around the campus just to get outside, get some fresh air. And it's great because you get to know each other outside of the business, and it kind of relaxes and rejuvenates everyone, because right now we're a very high stress environment. So that's a new habit that I hope continues once this COVID is over with, that we'll continue to do.
That's so powerful. Movement is medicine, I recently heard, and it's great to get out, get refreshed, and fellowship. Maybe, you walk 12 feet apart, or just even see people. Goodness.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, we spread out, and we have our mask with us so that if we pass a resident or someone, we stick our mask right back on. But it's just good to get outside and breathe a little bit.
What is your favorite part of your current job?
Well, my teammates are my favorite part of my current job, but my current favorite part right now is trying to put this puzzle together. We did $100 million financing back in December of 2019 to build this healthcare center. And the healthcare center is going to add some of our business line that we have now is going to move over there, but we're going to add an additional 100 beds, and they're going to be at different disciplines. And when the building's built out, we're going to have about 100 new full-time equivalent positions. So we'll have over 600 employees on the campus. and it's adjacent to our campus, and it's going to be beautiful. But we're starting a new service line where we're going to do rehabilitation services, which is, and we're probably going to do our own rehab, and we're just going to branch out and provide healthcare services to the greater community, not just to the residents on our campus. So we're going to start marketing. So right now I'm putting together all the budgets and the big puzzle and making sure that we're going to meet our forecasts, since our forecasts were done back in 2017, 2018, and COVID didn't even exist, and the world has changed, and there's still staffing issues and inflation. So just putting this puzzle together, like I said, working with all my departments, making sure that we're talking to our bankers, our bond covenants are being met. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. I know some people would think it sounds fun, but to me, it's a lot of fun, and it's going to be really exciting when we open and we're full, and we reap all of the benefits of all of our hard work.
What about question number 5 is, how about something personal that you wouldn't mind sharing with the rest of the CFO Council about yourself?
Well, I used to sail when I was in college, and I started sailing when I was very, very, very young. And so instilled in me was a lot of competition. My family's very competitive, and being competitive in that sailing world and going to college, and just, that's has helped me a lot, good and bad, through my career. But it also, early on, you practice makes perfect. You have a routine, you have to be organized, do everything. You learn how to be a team player, because when you're in a collegiate sport, not everybody's on their best game every day. So you need to know when to step aside. Just a lot of learning through that helped me in public accounting. And also I have 2 children. One graduated from Clemson and one graduated from the University of South Carolina. So we have a lot of rivalry in our household.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Lynne, last question. It happened so fast. What is something that I should have asked, but I didn't? And what's your answer to that?
Well, I guess COVID, since that's what we're living now. And one thing I can say is the news really has a negative impact on COVID, but here in Charleston and in South Carolina, I can say that all of the friends that we speak with, there's plenty of PPE out there. We're getting tested. There's plenty of tests. There's no shortage of tests. We test all the time. We haven't had many outbreaks, and that's consistent with all of my peers in the state. So it's not like when you turn on the news and you watch the news, it's not doom and gloom. Yes, people in our industry have passed away, but and that's really sad. But then a lot of them had comorbidities, so it just wasn't because they got COVID one day and they passed away the next day. So the news makes everything more negative than it really is, and there's really not any reason to be frightened if you have a medical emergency, to take care of yourself first.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, that do it safely and do it with the proper PPE, but please seek the medical care that you need. And pushing off surgeries, that can be, or procedures or treatment, or seeking the medication that's necessary, that can be really dangerous.
And just don't be afraid. There's no really reason to be afraid. Just be smart about everything.
Yeah. And I really think, 99+% everywhere I go, everybody's being really diligent about their sanitation and wearing a mask and super polite. And I think people are so much nicer everywhere, like I get a lot of doors held open for me. So it's a terrible, horrible period. But I do believe most of us are taking it really serious and trying our best to help ourselves, our families, and the whole community. So
Yeah, I agree, 100%. So,
Lynn, I took some notes here and I noticed some themes here. One, I think the sailing really helps you to be a team player and that you just have a love of team and your ability to multitask. You know, it can be dangerous if you're sailing, if you're not paying attention and you got fixated on one thing, you're going to get hit in the head with the boom. So that I think has served you really well. And also thank you for being on the front line. You are helping, and your team is helping those that are most vulnerable. So thank you for being on the front line and serving the community.
Well, thank you. Everyone here that's the main order of the day, to keep everyone safe. And so we have to be very safe. All of our employees have to be safe so we don't spread anything, and to keep all of our residents safe. So, thank you.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, Robert.